In this lesson, we're going to work with creating a feature class file from scratch. Now, we're not going to worry about populating the file with data, which can be done, but we're instead going to concern ourselves with just creating the file and also adding a projection to the file. And the way we're going to add a projection to the file is from an existing projection from another file. So that's what we're going to work on in this lesson. So let's switch our screens. And here's our script. So as we look at the first 3 lines here of our script, it looks fairly familiar by now to us. We import ArcPy, we import the environment, we set the environment. And immediately you should look at the 4th line here and say, well, why is he naming a variable out with the same pathway that is in the environment workspace? And the reason I've done this is so that when I actually call the command, I need to tell it where it's going to save the information, and I need a pathway to it. So this was the easiest way to create a pathway. It is a little bit redundant. There's probably some other ways we could have done this, but we did create a pathway. And so it's into the same folder. And again, we're working in folders. We're not working in a geodatabase for this one. The variable out file that I created called test2, that's going to be the name that my created shapefile will take. It's going to take the name test2. And so one of the things that we would do to make sure this ran properly would be to use something like File Explorer and make sure test2 exists. This file here called track3.prj is an existing file. So there is a file called track3. It happens to be in the same pathway, except it's in a subfolder from what we were looking at before. So this is in a folder test and this is in a folder track3, so they are not the same there. If we would have defined our environment one level farther back, then we could have used our environment statement and shortened this piece of the statement a little bit, but we didn't do that. So track3 is a shapefile, if you will. It has all the different components a shapefile normally has, and we're looking at a specific component, which is the PRJ file, the projection file. So we are defining another variable called projection file. The projection file says arcpy.spatial reference, and then it wants to know where that spatial reference is coming from. It's coming from our variable projection, which is the line above. So as you look at that, you can see the pathway where this file is coming from. And so we're now going to have a spatial reference in a variable named projection file. And just to see what that is, we put a print statement here so that we print the name of the projection file. We're just wanting to know what is the name of it. We should have known what the name was ahead of time, but this is a way of looking at what the name of a projection file would be. So this is a way of gathering information. And then our functional command that puts us all together is this line here, and I'm going to just change my pen color so that we can see what's going on a little bit. The actual command is right here. It's create feature class _ management, but it's in the management toolbox. So there's our functional command, our new command that we're looking at. And it's got quite a few features in it that we're looking at. So let's look at these features. We have an out. Well, where is out? Out's up here. And that's going to be where we're going to save our results. We have an out file, and remember, out file is the name of our saved results, which is test2 for this example. We have to tell the feature class file what kind of file it's going to be. Is it going to be a point? Is it going to be a line? Is it going to be a polygon? And so we've chosen polyline, which is a line function. Then we've skipped the next three functions that we could have added in here. So we're just skipping those. We just put double quotes there with nothing in the double quotes to show that we're not putting those functions in. And then the last function that we put in is the projection file. And the projection file, remember, is this file type that was the projection of track 3. So whatever the projection of track 3 was is now going to be the projection of my new feature class file. And so what have we created? We've been able to create a feature class file that didn't exist before with a projection from using a Python script outside of ArcGIS Pro completely.